The scripture reading this evening comes from the Exodus, chapter 33, verses 12 through 23. Moses said to the Lord, "See, you have said to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you also have found favor in my sight. Now if I have found favor in your sight, show me your ways, so that I may know you and find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people." He said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." And he said to him, "If your presence will not go, do not carry us up from here. For how shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people, unless you go with us? In this way we shall be distinct, I and your people, from every people on the face of the earth." The Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing that you have asked, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name." Moses said, "Show me your glory, I pray." And he said, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim before you the name, the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. But," he said, "you cannot see my face, for no one shall see me and live." And the Lord continued, "See, there is a place by me where you shall stand on the rock. And while my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen." This is the word of God.
We've been hanging out with Moses and the Hebrew people and Yahweh. And last week, our hanging out with them came to a very dramatic point. And if you remember, if you were here and was able to engage the whole story, we discovered that everybody is not happy. There isn't anybody happy. Yahweh was not happy with the people because they had decided to worship a golden calf. And I love the song for that Sunday last week. The psalmist wrote, "You exchanged God for a grass-chewing, grass-chewing bull." I thought that was such a great, great line. But here you got Yahweh, and here He has done all this. He has freed the Hebrew people from their slavery. He has vanquished the Egyptian army at the sea. He has fed them. He has brought them water. He has had quail coming in at every angle when they wanted meat. And every step of the way, Yahweh has done something to keep these people together. Has done something to let them know that He is with them. And then when He calls Moses up to the mountain so that they can wrestle over the commandment thing, they get scared, they get frightened. They go to Aaron. They said, "Aaron, we just don't think Moses is going to be back. We don't know. We're scared. We're frightened." And so then Aaron tells them to all collect the gold and melt it down into this false idol. That really is reminiscent of Egyptian theology. And that just hurts God. You ever think about that? God getting hurt. God's heart breaking. And so here Yahweh is, with his broken heart, is ready to come down on these people, rain fire upon them. He has had it. On the other hand, you got the people, and I suspect we could relate to them if we want to be honest. Here they are, out in the middle of nowhere. They're growing weary, they're growing tired, they want to go to where they're supposed to be, and yet they're no ways near there yet. And then their leader has been gone. He's been gone for 40 days. And they're afraid. And you know, when you're afraid, you do things that you probably wouldn't otherwise do. Fear does drive behaviors that are not always necessarily healthy. And so we can understand that. Because who in this room hasn't had moments when they have been afraid? And may have made choices they wish they hadn't after the fear has passed. It's part of that human condition that we all struggle with. But they're not happy, they're afraid. Yahweh's not happy, he feels betrayed. And then you got Moses, and Moses is not happy because he's caught in the middle. In many ways, Moses has got the worst end of the deal. On one hand, he loves Yahweh. And he has this intimate relationship with Yahweh that's unlike anybody else's relationship with Yahweh. Which is something we could say each about our own relationship with God. Because each of our relationships are unique and crafted wonderfully, and it's just sort of unique. But at the same time, he loves his people. And even though they are a pain, and he gets tired of hearing them, he loves them. And so he's always caught in the middle between Yahweh's demands and the people's demands. Yahweh's anger and the people's anger. Yahweh's desire for retribution and the people's desire for revolution. And he's always trying to balance all of that. And he's had it. He's had it. And last week, as he tried to live in the middle of this, he managed to talk God out of God's anger. So Moses earned his pay that day. And because Moses was able to talk God out of God's anger, the people get to live. And there are other times in the story where Moses talks the people out of their rebellion. And when that happens, God gets his people. But this evening, we're hearing Moses say, you know, Yahweh, I have been at this for a long time. And I'm tired. I want something for myself. I want something for myself. And I suspect there isn't a person in this room that doesn't understand that. How many times have we been caught in the middle of something? Not of our making. And it's required every ounce of courage and competence and skill to work through it. And important things hang in the balance. It may be a family issue. It may be something at work. It may be something here at church. But you know, there are times in our lives when we feel we are caught in the middle of something. And we feel pulled in both directions. And we work and we give it our best. And there is nothing more exhausting. And when we finally got through it, can't you imagine Moses? Don't we have a little bit of Moses in us? Oh God, can you just give me something to make this all feel worthwhile? Can you just let me know I am valuable to you? So I think we all understand where Moses is. I think we all know that frustration, that pain. So Moses cries out to Yahweh and says, I've been just, give me something, God. Let me see you. Let me see you. Well, that's a problem. I thought about showing a film clip tonight, but it's too gruesome to show you. But many of you probably have seen the film. Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Nazis, the most evil, whatever, managed to get the Ark of the Covenant. And they take it to this cave. And of course, Indiana and Marion, his girlfriend, I loved Marion. I hated it when they made the other movies and they didn't include her in that. I just thought he and Marion were just right for each other. I guess they brought her back for the fourth one. I've not seen the fourth one, but I think years later. But they had him tied up. And the arrogance of these Nazis, they were going to open up the Ark. They wanted to manipulate and use its power for their own ends. And Indiana, who knows his Old Testament, tells the guy who doesn't know what he has there. And of course, he's just a mist. And as you begin to hear the cover of the ark removed, he tells Marion, whatever happens, don't open your eyes. You see, in Old Testament understandings, God was so majestic and so powerful and so great that the mere mortal in any one of us could not handle it. And we would die if we got the full dose of God. That God was that powerful. And you remember, you may remember the story when David finds the ark and is taking it to Jerusalem, and he has a couple of his guys on the cart with the ark, and the axle of the wheel breaks, and the ark begins to slide off the cart. And one of David's men instinctively did what anybody in this room would do: run and grab it to stop it from falling off the cart. Too much power for the man. He dies. The power of God, too much for the mere mortal to handle all in one visible moment. And so here, what Moses is wanting from God, God is saying, I can't do this. I can't do this. You can't handle it. The power is that great, that awesome. You cannot handle it. But what I like about the relationship between Yahweh and Moses is that they're always negotiating. They're always negotiating. It's not like Yahweh says, this is what you're going to do. Maybe Yahweh says this is what you're going to do. And Moses is going to say, well, wait a minute. And then they work this out. They hammer this out. That's what I like the Old Testament so much for, because God and the people are constantly in this little negotiation thing going on. And we have this image of God in the Old Testament being really wrathful and really angry and really just, and all that stuff is there. But at the end of the day, when we study it carefully, we see a God who loves his people so much that he's just always willing to listen and argue with them. And in that give and take of the negotiation between Yahweh and the people, a path emerges for both of them to coexist with one another. I think that's really a cool way of dealing with theology. So Moses and Yahweh begin this negotiation. And Yahweh hears Moses' weariness. And so Yahweh knows he has to do something. And Moses hears the reality. No one gets to look eye to eye and live with Yahweh. It's just the power is too great. Just like that scene from Indiana Jones. Keep your eyes closed. And so Yahweh throws out this idea. I'll put you in this little cleft in the rock. I will hide your eyes from my presence. And as I walk by, you can get a glimpse of my back. And you know what? For Moses, that glimpse was enough. I believe that when we ask God, because we're tired and we're weary, we've been caught in the middle of something, and we've just about had it up to here, give me something, God. I think God's in the business of giving us a glimpse of his mystery, of his holiness, of his sacredness. And in giving us a glimpse, he protects us from a power we cannot handle. And he frees us to get a sense of a presence that is enduring and forever. And so as we struggle with our plights, and I'm not suggesting by any sense or measure that what we struggle with may be equal to what Moses struggles with. I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know what struggles you've had. Asking God for something is okay. You know, when you have a relationship with something you love, it's give and take. Expecting more than we can handle is out of bounds. It's out of bounds. There's grace in a God that protects us from the whole power of that God. There is. There is a grace in a God that will give us a fleeting glimpse. And we just have to have and cultivate the imagination we need to celebrate that glimpse and to live with it and to wait for the next one when we're exasperated and we're tired and we're weary. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Why I like the Old Testament. It's about a God who relates intimately with his people. It's about a people who struggles to relate intimately with their God. There's a whole lot of negotiating going on. This is how we are called to live our life with the holy. Know that you are loved in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.